This program contains strong language and strong sexual content. It is meant for mature audiences only. Listener discretion is advised. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Happy Hour Podcast. My name is Chace Rawlings. I'm being joined here by my brand new co-hosts, Mike and Matt. And tonight we're being joined by some of my friends that I've had for the last 21 years. Blood, Socrates, and Chris Burns, the Warpigs. How are you guys doing tonight?
Excellent, sir.
And as we know, this episode's called Warpigs Table Vol.1. So, would one of you gentlemen like to explain why this is called Warpigs Table?
Sure. The Warpigs Table is an actual table at a fine adult entertainment establishment named Christina's, where originally me and Blood would sit because we're cheap Jews and we don't like to tip. But over the years, there's been many incidents there. But, we're VIPs. We're pro wrestling stars, so we got our own table.
And you know what's funny is that we would always sit back in the corner, and whenever the girls would want to get tipped, they would have to jump off of the stage, walk all the way into the corner of the strip club in order to get any kind of tip. A lot of times they got pissed off because we weren't tipping. We're like, look, fuckers, we're drinking a lot of beer here. Like, leave us alone.
You gotta work for that dollar.
I was starting out this way. I thought for sure I was going to have to call you out for not tipping, but you hit it right from the
Now, if they took the effort to come all the way to our corner, they'd get a tip because that was, they had to take a walk or climb.
Did you ever make them go back and do it again? Just
No.
No.
Blood will remember this. The Warpigs table was right next to the DJ booth. There was one night where me and Blood were sitting there, maybe having a few beverages, and there was this old dude who had to be like in his 70s up there talking to the DJ. And apparently he forgot that he was on a stage. So he turns around to walk, and he fucking face bumps on the floor. And he didn't get up. So they called an ambulance. Me, being the drunk asshole that I am, I started a holy shit chant. They came in, they literally took this guy out on a stretcher as me and Blood continued drinking.
We never saw if you
we never saw him then. We still didn't tip, and his life may have ended that night, but at least he died happy. He died doing, like Herb Abrams, he died doing what he loved.
That's all that matters.
He died on top.
I could be wrong, but was it Christina's where you guys ran into the guy from NASA? I wasn't there that night.
Oh, no, that was Dreamers.
That was Dreamers. Well, that's a part of what I like to consider the Dundalk Triangle, because anybody who's familiar with Dundalk, where we're from in Maryland, there was a line that all the strip clubs, I think except for Christina's, are now since closed. Yep. But you would go through, it was Memories, Skins, Dreamers, and Christina's, all of which were non-full nude bars, which that's not my jam anymore. If I'm going to a bar, your ass is full nude. That's what's going to happen.
Well, it was also Dundalk, so most of the time they were nude.
Yeah. But when you would go, since Dreamers was tucked back in the back, it was kind of like a triangle if you hit all of them at one time. So, would you mind talking about the NASA guy?
Dreamers?
Oh.
Yeah.
From what I can remember, Socrates was a little more sober than I guess.
Well, no, I was just as drunk as you at the time, but I actually still remember everything.
I remember
because he had such a high tolerance back then.
Because we were both again sitting in the corner at a table, so we didn't have to tip because we are cheap assholes.
Jesus, you guys are cheap.
Oh yeah. And
I'm 14% Jewish.
So it was just us. Dreamers is always empty, because the dancers aren't that good. So it was just us and this old guy. Again, an old guy. What the fuck is with the old guys?
Fucking old guys, man.
So this we look over, but this old guy is fucking partying, and he's tipping with 20s.
Tipping with 20s.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
At Dreamers. And 50s.
At Dreamers.
Yes, at Dreamers.
Jesus, I'll give him a fucking lap.
Exactly.
Over here.
So we kept looking over there. What the fuck is this guy doing? And so I think one of the dancers told us he worked for NASA, right?
Yeah, I believe so. And
it was Rebel's wife.
Yes, it was Rebel's wife.
Not Rebel's wife. Mad Max.
Max Muscle.
Max Muscle's wife worked at Dreamers. and she told us that he worked at NASA, and he apparently wanted to party, so he invited us over.
Yep.
And started buying us shots. So
he bought us a tray of kamikazes. Shades of Ric Flair.
Oh, kamikaze.
He wanted to be
Shades
Ric
of Ric
Flair.
Flair.
Yeah, there was a night at Bluefin's that we got pictures of kamikaze, and it was brutal.
For the rest of the night, we called him Flair. Me and Blood, from what I recall, me and Blood by ourselves drank 2 trays of kamikazes. So the night ends.
Kamikazes.
I'm the sober one here. The night ends. Me and
he
Blood
was
go
also
out to the
doing beer and Everclear. Remember that?
Yeah. Me and Blood go out to the car. Old guy stays inside because apparently he had unfinished business. So Blood was at this point like half conscious. So I says to Blood, because the Dreamers was right down the street from Blood's house at the time. I says to Blood, I says, are you okay to take me home? If you're not, I can just get a cab, and you can chill out. And Blood had other plans. So we went to the city. We drove around for...
I don't recall this.
Trust me, every word is 100% true. Because even in my drinking days, I had a photographic memory. We drove around the city for 2 or 3 hours, but he was Blood's determined when he's drunk. So eventually we pulled over because
Not logical, very determined.
Eventually we to put in the work for it.
Eventually we pulled over because we both had to pee. And I have a very weak sense of smell because I had asthma issues as a kid, but I started smelling something, and I says to Blood, Blood, did you pee yourself? And he didn't respond. He just looked at me and he shook his head. We rolled down the windows.
You don't remember that?
I don't remember this.
We rolled down the window.
We've
And
been there.
I remember pulling down the alley to pee, but I thought I peed.
you peed
In
your
your pants, sir. In your pants.
You peed your pants and then you got out and peed again in the alley.
Oh, okay, well.
So you peed twice. I peed in the alley. And
Well, I do remember why we didn't, because that was toward the end of the night, because we got lost, but we turned around in a police station.
Yes.
And we were like, oh, it's time to go home.
we went into the
I
police
remember that
station.
part.
Yes.
That's when blood comes too.
Yeah.
Oh shit! This is a police station.
As we drove into the police station, the sun was starting to come up. So I think that sobered up a little bit.
Yeah.
So we got back to Blood's house. I was like, Blood, you gonna take me home or what? He's like, yeah, I'm fine. He takes like a half-hour nap. He wakes up, and he takes me home. And I went home, and I slept for a very, very long time.
Now, we have been to many, many strip clubs, and one thing that's been kind of standing out in my mind is one of the ones we went to Escape. And mind you, we went to Escape. This is the one down off of Pulaski Highway, down our way. And we went there, and we found this chick that worked there that was a stripper, and we convinced her that we were celebrities. And I forgot.
Was Mike there?
No, Maddie Paul was there.
Matty
Paul was there. And we were there, and while we were there, we literally convinced her that I was Robert Roode. I don't know how the hell that happened. I have short hair. He had long hair at the time. It would probably be...
Secretary said you were Robert Roode.
Yeah.
I thought I said you were Kevin Owens.
Well, whatever.
Close
Like,
enough.
whoever it
Close
was.
enough.
We were all drunk.
Kevin Owens was pretty accurate.
Yeah.
Point being, this strip was completely buying it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
she was buying it.
And she, we told her that he was Jonathan Davis.
I was Dreamer.
You were Tommy Dreamer,
Dreamer.
and that the most believable
Maddie-
one was Matty Paul was the dude from
The singer
Devil
from
Driver.
Double Driver.
Yeah, and he looked the most like him, and then we're like, well, hey, look, Socrates, looks extremely like Jonathan Davis, like, and she's fucking
Yes.
buying this shit.
So we got the pictures. We're like, all we had to do was
Especially
show
when I
her
got my
the picture.
facial hair going up.
If then she believed she was Davis, so she believed everyone else.
Yeah.
There you go.
And Blood still has her bracelet, do you not?
yeah,
You
yeah.
is one believer.
For some reason, she was giving us fucking.
How did you get this
pieces of her.
bracelet?
She was giving, she gave, I think, Matty Paul her necklace, and she gave me her bracelet. She was.
So instead of taking her clothes off,
Yeah, she's like, here's a
she's
bracelet.
giving you her
Yeah.
jewelry, and
I was like, why are you?
She was a
wearing
very
this?
confused young lady.
And
okay.
now we're gonna move on to what I like to consider the be-all, end-all of strip clubs.
Wait, before we move on, not to interrupt.
Oh, it's all right. No, you're
Because,
good.
the
you're good.
Warpigs Table is at Christina's. I want to
Yeah.
mention 2 things about Christina's. Number 1, the chick I've been banging for the last 3 years used to strip there with a fake ID when she was underage.
Oh.
I
would clarify right now. Were you banging her underage? Or
no,
Stripping underneath.
I'm
buzzing?
You know what?
or Steve, don't confuse me. And the other thing is, See, that's
we're shooting here. Are we shooting? Is this what this is turning into?
Brother, if you got the high priest on your show, I'm gonna start shooting.
He's starting to sheik out.
I'm sheeking out.
We're not even at the sheik.
Bring out Cody McGraw, motherfucker.
We're gonna get to Cody McGraw later, you fucking son of a bitch, Cody McGraw. But no, that's the happy story about Christina's. There's a happy one and a sad one. The other one, I don't.
That's the happy one.
The other one, I don't.
Everything involving Christina is a sad one.
Well, no, the happy one's happy. The other one's sad because I wound up in the hospital and I tried to kill myself, and I got released on the same day that Chester Bennington hung himself. Not to bring the show down or anything.
Jesus Christ!
not to get dark here or anything.
All right. So look,
Her name was Jamie Lucas, and fuck you, you fucking cunt. If you listen to this right now, which I don't know why you would be, but if you are, you can suck on the high priest's dick. You fucking cunt.
Well, she did.
Letting him talk. Best idea ever.
all right. So.
But Tori, you're cool. Tori's cool.
Oh my God.
She sucked dick. She sucked dick like a motherfucker. When I spank her, oh my God. Oh my God, bro.
Real quickly.
This has become a situation where, like, I knew this was going to go off rails, and sure enough, that's what happened.
And we're still sober.
So, anyways, we're going to get to what I like to consider the be-all, end-all of strip clubs. And you three know what I'm talking about. And that is the one and only Legs in West Virginia.
Oh God, I love Legs.
Yeah, Legs was the best.
Like top 5.
Now, keep in mind, the first time you guys ever took me to Legs, we're there, and we go, and you got, like, I'm sitting there, and West Virginia strip clubs, they're open till 4 in the morning. So my mind was blown just on that. I'm like, fuck, come 2 o'clock in the morning, I can still continue to drink. So 11 o'clock rolls around. Now, mind you, Legs is a pretty big club. They have these big mirrors going across from one end of the club to the other.
Pretty much like the whole span of the stage.
11,
the beer of the week.
at 11 or 12 o'clock, all this smoke goes off, and the mirrors start to fucking open. You look, you're like, what the?
He's never been there?
There's a whole nother fucking side to it. Yeah.
Never been.
It's a whole nother club.
I've heard the legend. Never been.
And you never will because it's closed now.
Yeah.
Where's that at again? What's that?
Martinsburg, West Virginia. Can I tell a quick leg story?
Oh yeah.
We did a show there one time for Samu, and I was managing Blood. So we come out, and of course, I'm a heel, so I'm cutting
Carnage.
Yeah, he worked Carnage. It was a 5-star match, I must say. But we come out, and of course, I'm healing up because I was doing my gimmick. I'm yelling to people. I'm like, "You degenerates! You're bringing your children into a strip club. What is wrong with you people?" And there was this really cute, like, little 8-year-old girl sitting up front, and I pointed to her. I was like, "Look at her! In 10 years, she's gonna be working here."
Kind of like the girl you currently banging.
Can I redirect? First, he talks about a girl who was stripping at Dreamers, who used to strip there underage, and then he goes, "There was this cute 8-year-old girl sitting in the front row."
He meant cute in the other way.
And now the portion of the show.
I'm not touching it.
All right,
But that wasn't even the good part of that, though.
What was the good part?
That Kevin Nash stole your girl.
Oh, Kevin Nash! Oh my God! Okay, that was the chick.
Kevin Nash was working the show, by the
Kevin
way.
Nash was on. No, all he did was cut a promo about how he used to drink with John Cena till 5 in the morning.
No, he worked the show. He worked.
Did he wrestle? Okay. I knew he cut a
We're
promo.
calling him out now.
Anyway, there was a chick that used to work there named Jade, who was like the girl I would always talk to and get a dance when I went there.
He was pretty far along with her.
Yeah, so we
She was
get
older,
the
not
show.
good looking, but
Dude, she was like 22.
Blood's like coming for him. Like,
Wait a minute. Okay, so we finish the show, and she comes over. She comes over and sits on my lap and starts talking to me. I'm like, so hey, we're gonna hang out. She's like, yeah, of course. Her and Kevin Nash both disappeared for the next hour and a half. Never saw her again. I literally never saw her again because we haven't been back there.
So, speaking of Legs, and back to the first time I'd ever went there, I'm sitting there, me and Blood were drinking. Blood looks over at me. Socrates like, I'm going to go get a lap dance. Blood sits there, turns his head, looks over at me, has that drunk look in his eye like he always does. Yeah, and that was the first time I was there. And Blood's like, have you ever seen Socrates get a lap dance? No? Like, what? Does he, like, convulse? Like, does he have a seizure? Like, he's like, well, keep in mind, Socrates doesn't wear underwear. I'm like, okay, like does he
You
pop a
don't wear-
boner? Like
so
he's,
currently you're freeballing it.
yeah.
I wear a diaper. I wear a diaper to bed because I have prostate issues. But no, I don't. I'm not wearing underwear right now.
We're about to unleash
did
whole
bring that
can of
up,
worms
Socrates.
here.
That was-
Speaking of unleashing,
volunteered.
Socrates, would you like to explain what happened?
So
I just want to know. He's naked under those green shorts. Green shorts.
I can show you.
And he just showed me his bare ass. He's
So
naked.
Blood looks at me. He's like, yeah, Socrates has an orgasm whenever he gets a lap
I didn't
dance.
say that. I said
No.
I said Socrates going to come on that strip.
whatever.
Hey,
Yeah, well,
you get orgasm.
so-
You're a lucky man.
so I'm sitting there and I'm looking. Blood taps me on the shoulder. He's like, look, it's getting ready to happen. So he taps me on the shoulder. He's like, look, it's getting ready to happen. Sure enough, I look.
He's got it timed out.
Yeah. And Socrates just, and like you see her fucking jump up like that. It was like a Jack in the Box. Chick just fucking jumps up. You see her check her ass, like she's holding her ass, and it's like, what the? He's like, he came on that stripper, and like, sure enough, like Socrates comes back all fucking proud of himself, like he just won the fucking Olympics.
Because you
And
did.
all that.
Came on a stripper. Oh.
Well, I bet she.
I've came on a lot of strippers. To be fair.
I bet she immediately went to the dressing room, took a pregnancy test.
Oh no, that chick did not come back the rest of the night. Blood looked at me and he's like, she's dead. No doubt. Like we looked at each other, we're like, she's not coming back. Like she died. Like she went back there and killed herself.
He did the same thing to a friend of mine. I got him on a double date.
Yeah. In the ring at the EWA school.
Yeah.
That's gotta be part of the disclosure that, hey, you're a stripper, you're going to get cum on sooner or
If you rub on him, you're going to get cum on. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, Ed, he used to date her. Yeah.
That was
cum stripper? Those socks
Awkward got my sloppy seconds.
Oh, you dated Salty Jade?
You were after him. You were after him.
And then like two weeks later, we did a show at the school where I worked, DJ Hyde, and I was telling people don't bump in this area because that's where I came in the ring.
I remember that. I was like, why, dude?
No,
why?
that was before I met her.
Oh, was it? Oh,
Yes.
okay.
Because I met her, then I ended up
Elena.
met her. Then that's how I found out that they knew Blood. Then found out where the
Who came on
connection
there,
was.
Also with legs. Now,
I think that conversation went, so you came with my friend?
She wasn't thrilled either.
so you came with my friend. You want to go out tonight?
I can imagine it meeting. Oh, you two know each other? How?
You know, with all the tier
No,
dates
my
and all
butt.
that
It's
shit
okay.
nowadays, it's like, that's an easy icebreaker. So you came on my friend, huh?
Also with legs was one of the first and only strip clubs I've ever seen that did 25-cent draft beers. This
Good
was
times, good
the
times.
infamous
Sounds
night.
dangerous.
Now, Blood, when Awkward first started. Now let's get on a point. We're calling Chris Burns awkward, and the whole point is he took a bump at the wrestling school. Someone called him. You want to? Yeah.
I'll tell a
I
story.
mean, I don't know this, so I would love to hear
It was Jimmy Starr.
Yeah, he called it awkward.
Well,
Yeah,
well,
fuck
most,
Jimmy
well most
Stars.
people in the wrestling business know, like as a student, like you get some sort of nickname,
Yeah.
and usually it's a girl's name, because one guy that was training with me, they originally got the name Emily.
Yeah.
Then based on how he looked at the time, end up getting the
How
name.
does one look like an Emily?
Based on what he looked like, he ended up getting a different nickname. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
mention what it is. And someone mentioned that guess they knew I was in the military, so I guess at one point they were calling me Lieutenant Dan.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then and like first day of training, first thing they tell you is like keep your eyes and ears open, mouth shut. And no, that's what I did. And I'm usually a quiet individual in general, but apparently like the social awkwardness kind of kicked in, so I guess that got the name transferred to Awkward Dan. And I believe it was Jimmy Starr was the first one that I heard it from. So
Yeah, 'cause
that eventually stuck.
They were in the
Yeah.
ring just doing drills, and I see Jimmy Starr just point at him and go, "Look at Awkward Dan over here." and here we are 13 years later, and he's still awkward.
He's still awkward.
Now-
My wife knows him as Aki.
Yeah.
Just a quick interlude. My name, when I started wrestling school, was Stick Boy. Because I was like 120 pounds soaking wet. And one time on a show during a promo, Axel Rotten said I look like a heroin addict. let that sink in for a minute.
I can see that.
I just got that.
I think there was like one point, like someone asked me, like, how'd you get the name Chris Burns? That I immediately told him, my name's not Dan.
Yeah. Well, and see, here's the thing. Like, I went on for months, like literally, probably about, I would say at least 4 to 5 months, thinking your name was legitimately Dan. And then, you know,
wait, his name's not Dan?
So, you know, we sit there and I get a MySpace. This shows how far back it was. I get a MySpace friend request from Chris Burns. I'm like, who the fuck is Chris Burns?
Matter of fact,
Even
you
more
came
weird,
up with people you
his
may
name's
know.
not
and I was like,
Chris.
"How fuck
Yeah.
And even after that point, that like people,
Yeah.
there was Lunar. In fact, legitimately forgot my name was Chris.
Oh, yeah.
We went to have one of the practice sessions at the old school in Middle River, and brought a chick with me to the show, and Lunar asked him like who he'd never seen her before, find out who she is and who she's here with. So I'm here with Chris Burns, and he's like, who the is Chris Burns? and then his wife goes, that's awkward.
And your actual name pronounced with a T at the end, like Christ.
Yes.
Christ.
Quick fun
That's
fact.
that is the shoot name.
Quick fun fact: when we ran our own AWL fed, Chris Burns replaced Alex Lunar after Alex Lunar was in a fire. He was replaced by Chris Burns.
Wait,
We're skipping something.
And the crowd goes mild.
fire.
But it was when our set burned down for the TV show.
No, he was cooking a turkey for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, and he caught himself on fire.
I lit myself on fire, but that was on the show.
But anyways, like, so Awkward, the new guy.
Fire here. Everybody's on fire.
I'm pretty sure just you
Blood
and me.
used to spit fire. That motherfucker fireballed me in a bar one night. We're just sitting there. He has the fireball paper and it's woof.
Blood still has a piece of glass stuck in his ass from when I put him through a chair with a flaming stack of flaming chairs with glass.
There's still a little bump in my ass.
But anyway, speaking of Chris being, you know, the new guy and all that, me and Blood, we were the type of guys who were like, hey, if you want to go, you know, on the road with us, we'll go on the road. We'll take you to whatever shows you want to go to. So we quickly realized
We
that
got a
he
mark.
didn't drink. So we were like, all right. And, you know, me and Blood, we're the type of guys who were like, well, if he doesn't drink, we can go to Legs. We can go to anywhere else, and we can just have him drive us home. So this leads us into the infamous "Take Me Home" Awkward night, which goes back to Legs. So we're at Legs, and it's the only strip club that I've ever seen that's done 25-cent draft beers. It's the only place I've ever known of that's ever done that.
Well, they were supposed. We were lucky. They were supposed to have a limit of one per person.
Yeah.
But the bartender wasn't there.
Right.
Yeah.
So they had the stripper bartending. And she didn't know.
And she just gave us whole trays.
So I just went up there and ordered a 25-cent beer, and she's like, "Well, how many do you want?" I'm like,
all of them?
Yeah. What kind of question is that?
I was like, "Well, how many can I get?" She's like, "Wait, you can get as many beers as you want." I was like, I would like, and I handed her a 20. I was like, I would like this many.
And then you did it. So then I went up and got 20.
Yeah, I ran back. Everybody went up there.
And I did
take
too.
her and be 20.
So
by the end of that night, the only person who was still standing was me and Awkward.
yeah.
And I was the only one still drinking.
And unfortunately, Awkward was the only one standing because he was the only one that was sober. So, you know, the night transpired. We end up with the biggest three-dimensional fucking beer
So
mid.
3 of you guys
No.
put down a 20 spot each. That's 80 beers.
Yes.
At least.
Yes.
And this is why.
Per 20.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is why.
240 beers between the 3 of you.
Yeah.
Yes.
And, well
No,
I don't know.
four of us, because Maddie was.
We
with us.
started
Matty
giving them
Paul's
away.
there, too.
Matty Paul
Like, we
might
had
have,
some-
Yeah, we gave a few away.
Matty Paul might have ordered a few as well.
There was and this is the reason why I walked into the
But yeah, there was a
bathroom.
bachelorette party there too. We started giving them beer.
This is the reason why when I walked into the bathroom, Ray was helping Blood pee, and then Blood took a face bump.
Stop. You need to elaborate on helping Blood.
Well, no, he wasn't. He was just helping him stand. Blood couldn't stand up to him. He just kind of helped him stand
Okay,
up.
so it
He's
wasn't
helping me
like
walk.
it wasn't like an aim issue. He was trying to assist with or anything.
There wasn't any penis contact that I
Okay,
saw.
okay.
But then Blood turns around and he flare face bumps on the bathroom
Oh,
floor.
yeah, I remember that because I was holding him up, helping him pee.
I thought that was towards the end of the night when we were trying to head home.
Yeah.
Well, it was towards the end. Yeah.
Well, I mean, the night was so long. We were there for so long.
Matty Paul wound up passed out in the car after the first tray.
Yeah, and unfortunately, on the way home, Matty Paul ended up being victimized by Blood the whole way back, and that was in between the time of Blood going, "I think I shit myself." Awkward, pull over. So we would pull over, and Blood be fine.
Yeah,
and then
and a lot of times he had me pull over.
Yeah,
and most of those times he didn't let me stop before he opened the door and tried getting out.
I got nothing.
So you're never allowed the roller coaster to come to a complete stop before he
gets out.
Ejected the vomit out of himself.
So, did I ever throw up?
Probably.
I'm not sure. That's a good question.
I don't think I ever threw up then. That'd be impressive. If I did.
So with that, we will be taking a little bit of a break. We're going to hear a little bit of commercials from some of our sponsors, and we will be back.
We haven't even gotten into the wrestling stories yet.
Whoa, trust me, we'll get into the wrestling stories. But we're going to take a short break, and we will be back in 1 minute.
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy, the Shining Diamond, Rico Diamante, and I am a graduate of the EWA Paint Factory. Have y'all ever dreamed of stepping out of the crowd and getting into the ring? I mean, that's exactly what I did, and all I'm doing is kicking ass and taking names since. The EWA Paint Factory is now accepting new students so you can experience the same success as the Shining Diamond, Rico Diamante. We're located at 1113 North Point Boulevard in Dundalk, Maryland. So make sure you find us on social media, on Twitter and Facebook. Make your dreams come true today.
We here at the HH Pod would like for you to go visit Tony, Kaylee, and the rest of their talented artists at Instant History Tattoo and Art Studio in beautiful downtown Havre de Grace. They were recently voted second runner-up and the best in Hartford County. Make sure you check them out and get some quality ink done. Once again, that's Instant History Tattoo and Art Studio. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back on the Happy Hour podcast. Real quick, we're going to get into our beer of the night. And for the life of me, I cannot pronounce this shit, so I'm going to let good old Awkward Dan pronounce this.
Oh, good job. It's called Lagunitas Little Something Something Ale.
Lagunitas,
orale.
Viva la raza. It says on the can how to pronounce it.
I know it's Lagunitas. Is it like obtuse or tus?
On the box, it says how to pronounce it, which is weird.
It's spelled out phonetically, and you're still missing it.
Wait till you get to my beer.
Yeah, but it's so tiny, and in our old age, it's kind of hard for us to see.
Yeah, that's right. You had that beer.
My beer's not even English.
Lagunitas.
All right, so we're going to get into... There was a trip that we did, me, you, and Socrates, and I think you guys did it more than once. I went the first time, and that's when we did the Pittsburgh trip. For
to clarify
Rambo
here, now
and
we're going to get into
NWO.
Warpigs going around the table telling road stories.
Yes. So, do one of you guys want to lead into the Pittsburgh story?
Sure.
Because there was so much that happened with Pittsburgh.
We go up, me, Blood, and Chace, and Rambo, because he's, a very generous promoter, had us supposed to be in a hotel with like 4 other guys.
To be fair, he did give us a free hotel.
No,
Socrates paid
I
for
paid
it.
for the room.
Yeah.
I paid $50, and I didn't even get paid that show.
Yeah. Socro paid for the room.
I paid for the room.
Socrates, I never do that. If you did, you're just stupid. Because everyone else stayed for free. He just fucked you.
No, he was going to have us in the room with like 4 other guys.
Oh, okay.
And I wasn't sleeping on the fucking floor.
Oh, all right.
So you elected. So it wasn't
I
that you
elected to
offered
pay.
for
Yeah,
your
I
room,
elected to
You're just
pay.
like, I'm not bucking with
Yeah.
this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Well, that's a
yeah.
different story. Okay, that makes sense.
But we get there, and there was a little not an after party, pre-party the night before the show, because the show was on a Sunday. It was a Saturday night when we got there.
Well, keep in mind, I don't mean to interrupt you, but keep in mind, on the way there, it took us forever to get there, because fuckface over there wanted to
Fuckface
fucking
being
keep
Blood.
on
That's
getting
just being
on
pointed at.
and off the fucking Jersey Turnpike so he could go see the world's biggest fucking Big
It was
Mac.
the world's biggest Big Mac, fucker.
Okay.
And you're
why
not
would you
gonna
go to
not
that
go
carries
see
around
the
a giant
Warpigs
Ford
Table.
Drive anyway? Why would you do that?
And it was a very large Big Mac.
Yeah. However, we found out when we got there that it actually wasn't the world's biggest Big Mac.
It was.
The world's biggest, the one in America.
Largest.
But there was one in Japan, and then Blood was like,
Let's go to Japan.
We all walked in and expected this Big Mac to be a legit Big Mac. But it was this big plastic fucking replica, and Blood was like, "What is this shit?"
I ate that bitch.
So to get back to the story, the night before the show, we were at the bar, drinking, and apparently, Rambo said that you can drink, the beer's on us, but don't take liberties.
Yeah.
So the three of us are sitting. We
did not take liberties.
We did not take liberties
We
because
were all for beer.
the bartender kept coming around and asking us if we wanted another pitcher. What we're gonna do? Say no?
Yeah, that's
rude.
disrespect.
That's not taking liberties. That's
rude.
just saying yes.
Yeah.
Chase, do you want to enlighten them on how many pitchers we drank?
Let's see. If I remember, because we had a stack of pitchers. Didn't we drink? What was it?
We did a pitcher pyramid.
Was it 18 pitchers?
No, dude, it was 23.
23. Okay.
Here's the thing. Other than Corey Bush sitting down and drinking like 2 beers, it was just the three of us drinking all.
And if I could be honest, by the time we made it to 8, the waitress looked pissed. So I think we were taking liberties.
not to jump too far ahead in the story, but we go back to the hotel. And these two fuckers decide they want to go to a strip club because the night, they're not drunk enough yet. I wanted to lay down for a while because I've been drinking since like 11 a.m.
It was a bring your own beer strip club, so we had to go find a liquor store.
They go.
I was the only one who went. Did you go with me?
Yeah, I went with you.
Okay.
They both go. I'm laying down. I'm half asleep. They come back. So there's 2 beds. It's a hotel. I'm laying there. This fat bastard, Chace, decides he wants to frog splash me. I'm still selling the frog splash, and this fat bastard, Blood, decides he wants to senton me. So I get up, I chop the fuck out of Blood. I open the drawer, because every hotel's got a Bible. I grab the Bible, and I beat the fuck out of Ray with the Bible. Because how dare you, sir?
Well, before that, we go back to the room. Mind you, we're all obliterated. And who was it? Was who was it that was telling all the jokes and all that? Why can't I remember his
Jackpot?
name? No. Jimmy Valiant.
Jimmy Valiant.
It was Jimmy Valiant.
Tony Atlas was there too.
Yeah.
Tony
Atlas and Jimmy Valiant. Both
Tony
were at the
Atlas
show.
dances like a white man too.
Oh yeah,
he cannot dance at all.
Yeah, and Jimmy Valiant's telling all these jokes and all that shit. And so we're all obliterated. So we go back to the room.
Oh, and Conrad Brooks was there too.
Oh, yeah.
And he was trying to help. He was trying to find hookers.
Yeah,
God bless Conrad.
God bless him. Rest in
Conrad
peace.
Brooks was at almost every Rambo show we almost ever did. And I was like,
Conrad
why is he
Brooks? I'm not
here?
familiar with
Conrad Brooks. He was the cop in Plan 9 from Outer Space.
He was like a B movie.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Extra.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
Keep in mind, he was like 78 at the time.
But
of this.
Rambo booked him as like a superstar.
Yeah.
But he was just an awesome guy.
He was at one show in Ranson, and I'm
I would
pretty
book him too just because he's
I'm
awesome.
pretty sure he didn't even watch the match. We did a 4-way. It was me, Blood, Chucky Manson, and Eric Polaris, and it was brutal as fuck. Remember that match? Remember that we bled so much the students had to come up with a mop and mop the floor because there was so much blood on the floor?
Good times.
I go up to Conrad Brooks after the show, and I'm like, "Hey, sir, did you watch our match?" He shakes my hand. He's like, "Yes, it was awesome," and I popped so hard.
So we go back to the hotel room. We're all obliterated. We do that. We can't get into the room. The door's locked. So
I remember that.
no, we couldn't get into the room. So Blood's sitting there. He's throwing his shoulder into the door. The door won't open. All that. So there was a chair that, like, just a regular red chair sitting outside the door. So I'm drunk. I'm like, fuck this. I grabbed a chair and I start beating the fucking, like, I raise it like I'm going to hit the door with it. So Jackpot comes up and he grabs a chair from me. He's like, whoa. Dude, what are you doing? I'm like, we can't get into the room. The door's locked. He's like, all right, let me try to help you out. So he reaches down and he turns the handle and the door fucking opens. And we're all just fucking standing there like,
amazed.
what did you do?
Because we tried that.
And we were turning the knob the wrong way.
Oh.
You had to turn it a certain way. So he turned, and the door just flies open. And that's when me and Blood were like, we need to go to the strip club. Like, what? Like, this is like.
Hold on. That should have told you right there.
We
You're
should-
already too drunk.
Now let me guess. You let the guy that again carries a giant fork around that had to take a detour to see the world's largest Big Mac. You let him drive you.
World's largest Big
Yep.
Mac.
So you drove
And he-
after that?
Oh yeah.
Oh, there were so many times that we would go to shows and we would stop. Blood was the Lyco. At that time, Lycos was still around. He was like the Google Maps of strip clubs and the Google Maps of weird shit to find on the side of the road to take pictures with. So every time we went on the show, there was 2 things that were guaranteed. We were stopping to take pictures with shit on the side of the road, or we were going to the strip club. That was guaranteed. So,
That's hot.
I have to tell a quick story from the second Pittsburgh show, which was just me and Blood, and also our friend Bob Starr in a hotel room.
Oh, yeah, yes.
So, me, Blood, and Bob Starr in a hotel room. We get up the day of the show. I'm hungover as a motherfucker. I'm in bed. Bob's taking a shower. Bob comes out of the shower, walks outside to smoke a cigarette, and all he's got around is a towel. You know, he's out there, he smokes a cigarette, he comes back in, he's cool, we're still chilling. Next thing you know, the manager of the hotel comes into our room, looks at Bob, points at him, and goes, "If I ever catch you shaking your dick at my wife again, I'm taking you out of the picture." And Bob's like, "What the fuck? What did I do?" And shockingly, he didn't do anything. There was another guy outside who flashed the guy. The guy's wife was like the cleaning lady at the hotel. Some other guy flashed her while Bob was outside in the towel, and Bob took the heat for it.
We never even got to fucking Samu shaving eyebrows.
Oh, okay.
oh my God.
Okay. Samu was determined to shave somebody's eyebrow.
He tried to get me.
He was
He tried to get Blood.
He was talking about it all day.
Yeah,
He's like, I'm going to shave somebody's eyebrow tonight.
Blood wasn't having that shit. He wanted to get me, but I wouldn't go to sleep because, you know. Oh, the same night,
was scared.
Samu was trying to drink with me and he couldn't keep up because I had $10 whiskey and he couldn't handle it.
Yeah.
So he goes
300-pound Samoan could not hang with you drinking at that time.
Well, no.
Yes.
He didn't want to drink with him because his whiskey was horrible.
He took one shot.
That's
He looked at me.
saying something
He
right
looked
there.
at me. He made a face and he goes, "How the fuck you drink that shit, brother?" So
Canadian
eventually,
whiskey is like $5 a liter.
how dare you, Blake?
Good time to burn the carpet when you pour it
It's
in.
$8.99 for a 2-liter. Eventually, Corey Bush passed out. So he goes into Corey Bush's room and he shaves one of his eyebrows. Keep in mind, Corey had a match with Al Snow the next day. So we all wake up. I'm walking outside to smoke a cigarette and I see Corey. And I'm like looking at him like he looks a little different. I walk up to him. He's got no eyebrows. And he looks so weird. Because if,
So he's rocking the old King Kong Bundy look.
Sam
No eyebrows.
only shaved one.
yeah.
But then he looked stupid, of course. So then I convinced, I said, look, just shave the other one. You'll look like Bundy.
I can imagine, like,
I said the same thing. I was like, you'll pull the Bundy.
You're gonna look like
You'll
King
even
Kong Bundy.
more horrible.
Corey was talking to a girl named Amanda that we knew, who was the girlfriend of Brandon Scott.
Still, now the wife.
Oh, now the wife.
Yeah.
So anyway,
So you're being a good friend. So you evened out for it because you didn't want him to look stupid.
Exactly.
so for the rest of the show, every time I saw her and Corey together, I would go, "Hey, eyebrows and cocksucker." and when we did our match, I'm sorry. When we did our match, it was a 6-man tag. It was me and Blood as the Warpigs and Latin Tornado against Rocky DeCola, Napalm, and Samu's boy.
Lord, you do remember shit.
I've got a photo of him. I come out. We're the heels. We're the heels.
Fucking Rain Man.
I come out to the ring. Amanda's sitting there. I come out. You know, I'm talking shit. You know, Blood's of course doing his thing. I just look at her. I point at her and I go, "You suck." And so for the entire rest of the match, all I did was fuck with her the whole match.
Oh, dude, bringing up Latin Tornado, there was a time that me and you teamed, and it was Latin Tornado, and who the hell was
Todd
he teaming
Hill.
with?
Todd Hill.
Todd Hill. So we do the match, and we think we think of this spot, and we're like, okay, well, you're like, hey, you know what? I'm going to be on the outside of the ring. You bring me in the hard way, and I'll do the Eddie Guerrero thing to Todd Hill. I'm like, all right, cool, that works. So we get to the spot in the match, and I go and I fucking slingshot you, and you go, and you miss him by like fucking 5 feet.
To be fair,
And
I think my feet did hit him. I was a little short. I was a little short.
But also, Latin Tornado could not fucking speak English. Like, I had no idea what he was saying. So I pissed him off because he whipped me into the turnbuckle. And I didn't hear what he called. So I'm like, oh shit, I don't know what he called. So he's running at me, so I put my foot up. And I'm like, all right, so let me just put my foot up. I kick him in the face. And at that point, I hear him go, ah, da da da. And I'm like, I don't know if he's pissed. I don't
fuck you in the ass.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't know what's happening.
For those of you who haven't already picked up on this, the only time me and Chace ever tagged together, it was 5 fucking stars.
Yeah. And so, now, you brought something up about heat. Now, I'm going to bring something up with heat. I'm going to bring up Covey Pro. And Socrates. There's a few stories with Covey Pro. And Socrates, we all went up to a show, and I got booked.
I liked Kobe Pro up until that point.
You were their champion.
Can I give my side of the story? So I'd worked like their previous 3 shows. I worked a hardcore match with Blood. We did some tag stuff. So I messaged him on MySpace like 3 days before the show. I'm like, hey man, if I come up, can I get on this Rumble? Because he was doing a Royal Rumble. And he's like, yeah. He's like, if you come up, I can't guarantee it, but I'll probably get you on. So I'm figuring, okay, it's a fucking Royal Rumble. He'll book me if I show up. Now, there was a Lakers playoff game that day. So I'm like, you sure? He's like, yeah. So I missed the fucking Laker playoff game. I go up, and he doesn't put me in the match. So I go outside.
And I wasn't booked either, but he put me in the match.
That motherfucker. Now I hate him even more. So I go outside with my, once again, the whiskey, which Samu couldn't handle. And possibly a couple...
going to kill you if you really see it.
Possibly a couple of somas and possibly a powdery white substance. while they did their match.
Well, because you always had that bottle. What was your medicine?
Okay.
You always had a bottle that you called your medicine.
You're tangenting all over the place.
I had a 32-ounce thermos from Franklin Square that my mom gave me because she worked there. So for every show, I would fill it up halfway with beer and halfway with vodka. Because vodka you can't smell.
Most of the time, it was random alcohol I found at his house. And milk.
So it was like a Jersey. It was like a Jersey Turnpike in a month.
It was occasionally a White Russian, but I drink the beverage. I do my thing. So we're coming back from the show, and I'm just very angry. I was an angry young man, and Ray decides I got to get this on camera. So he turns on his phone. I'm sitting in the back seat and I'm loaded up front. I'm going off on Cody. Cody McGraw, you no good fucking Jew, you son of a bitch.
He was high.
If I ever see you again, I will fuck you. And then I may have gone off on a couple of tangents on other people in the business. I may have said a word or two about Joe Hamilton.
Booked again.
I may have said a word or two about Joe Hamilton, Jimmy Stars,
Well, I mean, Jimmy Stars, it was probably justified.
That was deserved.
That guy's a
That
piece
was
of shit.
justified. That was justified.
So, but with Kobe Pro also, Blood was their heavyweight champion. And there was a show I remember we did. Kevin Nash was on the show. And
that was the same show.
I felt so bad for Kevin Nash. Because all the guys on the show lined up to get autographs. To get his autograph.
You know why?
Line that they were paying.
You know why? You know why I didn't feel bad for Nash though? Cody paid him $5,000 so he could go over on Kevin Nash.
Oh,
and he did.
No, he didn't go over on Kevin. Ace Dallas went over on Kevin.
Yeah, it was Ace Dallas.
But Cody was in the match though. It was a 3-way dance.
Yeah,
he was in the match.
But with that, at one point you were the heavyweight champion, which of course Cody McGraw beat you for the heavyweight championship. Yeah. But there was a point where you had the privilege of working Spike Dudley. So, Cody books Spike and he's like, hey, would you guys mind picking him up from BWI? Because you guys are the closest ones to him.
Really,
so we're like, fuck yeah, let's pick up Spike. So we go get Spike, One of the first things Spike asked us is, do you mind if I smoke weed in here? And we're like, no, not at all. He had like
I encourage it.
Yeah. So, we go, we do the...
Really? Spike Dudley gets down. Oh, okay.
Oh, a lot.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And so, we're
all
Spike,
the Dudleys do.
Mind you, that show, Blood throws him down the fucking bleachers like the way they did in ECW.
I get it.
So Blood throws him down the fucking bleachers, and then we drive back.
All right, hold on. We destroyed each other then.
Oh, yeah. You guys killed each other.
Socrates was, he was, other than the weed he smoked, he was perfectly sober because everybody warned me while working him.
Yeah.
They're like, he's going to be high on coke and fucking don't trust him. And he was a professional.
That was a good match.
And it was all, that's when I had the best match I've had, I think.
Yeah.
And then
other than all the times you worked Socrates.
Cody McGraw, and I wasn't even mad about Cody McGraw about the fucking later shit where he never booked us. But I was pissed about him about this because he complained about that match.
Yeah.
He said he wanted us to fight outside, like the fucking it was fucking who the fuck was that? It was some match earlier. It was Al Snow and Road Dogg, I think. They went out into like the Mississippi River.
Oh no, it was Al Snow and Hardcore Holly. Al Snow and Hardcore Holly.
He wanted us to go outside and fucking fight outside and shit. Yeah. And we were going to.
What's the sense though during an indie match? But no one can see it.
But not only that, we started to go outside and nobody followed.
Yeah.
So we were like, okay, we're not going to go outside and be alone.
The crowd saying this isn't going to work.
Yeah, we read the crowd and we were like, okay.
What you're doing.
Then we were like, oh, well, let's go up into the crowd. Then we went, and he went. That was his call. We went up into the bleachers and we threw him down the bleachers.
Oh my god, dude! I was standing right next to you guys, and I heard him say, "Throw me," and I was like, "What?" And
I was like, I even told him, I was like, I don't want to. You're gonna die. And he was like, I'll be okay. I'm like, well, see ya. And I fucking winged him. I think he meant like tumble him down, but I threw him halfway down.
He was asking for a gentle nudge, and you gave him a complete
No,
launch.
I lifted him up because he's a little dude. I lifted him up and I threw it.
Blood picked him up by his shirt and his belt, and he just fucking threw it.
And by the way, since we're on the topic, Al Snow, if you're listening to this, you still have heat with me, so fuck you. Because the same Pittsburgh show where Bob almost got taken out of the picture.
Where the fuck did this come from?
Blood, you were there.
Let it go.
You were there.
Why would Al Snow have heat with you?
We were.
Why would Al Snow listen to this podcast so he can hear Socrates say "fuck you"?
Oh no, I really want to know why you have heat with Al Snow.
Okay, so the second Pittsburgh show, the night before, we all went to like this nightclub, and because of the pitcher story we told earlier, Rambo didn't let us have free beer this time, so we had to pay for the beer. So Al Snow's just sitting at the bar. Do you remember this, Blood?
No, I have no idea why you'd have heat with Al Snow.
All right, Al Snow's just sitting at the bar, like by himself, not talking to anybody.
Okay.
So I figure, I'm gonna try to go and talk to him and be polite.
Yeah.
So the first show I ever wrestled the first show I ever wrestled in 1999, Al Snow was there. And I go up to him. I try to make polite conversation. I'm like, hey, Al, can I buy you a beer? He's like, I'm good. I was like, the first time, keep in mind, this was like 10 years later. I'm like, hey, Al, the first time I ever wrestled, you were there on the show doing an autograph signing. This was back in 1999. I thought he was going to be like, oh, that's awesome, man. How's your career going? He looks at me. He shakes his head, and he goes, that was a long time ago. And the motherfucker kayfabed me.
So why would you have heat about that?
Because I was trying to be polite.
But he's been to fucking thousands of shows.
I'm the fucking high priest. I'm a bigger star than Al Snow. Always got a head. Fuck you, Al Snow. Al always got a head. Oh.
Al Snow.
And he stole my move. Al Snow.
I'm sure Al Snow stole
I swear
your
to fucking
move.
God, you can ask Ruckus. You can ask Ruckus. The first show I ever worked, I used to do the Psycho Stunner. I hit Ruckus with it during our match. Literally a week later, Al Snow started doing it on Raw. That's 100% shoot. That is 100% shoot. So
it all wasn't
Al
rude.
Snow
Didn't
listens
shit
this.
talk in any way, shape, or form.
No.
He just did acknowledge
He
the
did
fact
acknowledge you remember
there was no
doing-
positivity, so fuck
he
it.
no-sold me. Look, if I was
think Al Snow needs to pay for his crimes here.
You know what? Fuck you, Al Snow. You fucking.
If I was in Al Snow's shoes, here's what I would have said. I would have said, you know what, young man, I remember that day.
You know
it
what,
was a 5-star match, and I'm glad you're having a great career.
I don't think the whole thing. I don't think Al Snow knows whether he wants to come or cry right now.
Now, to be fair, that is what Snuka did. Snuka.
He came or cried?
No. Snuka, whatever show I've been to, he would act like he knew everybody, and everybody was his best friend, because he didn't remember anything. He couldn't remember breakfast. So he
also didn't remember killing his girlfriend.
He assumed. So he would act like, hey, brother, how you doing, brother? So he assumed he knew everybody because he's so old. He thought he knew everybody. So he would act like he did. And he was like, hey, brother, how you doing, brother? Like, I've never met you. I was like, and he told me, he's like, I assume I met everybody. So I'd already better feelings.
Well, speaking of famous wrestlers who don't remember people, you've got to tell the Terry Funk, Larry Legend story.
You probably don't remember that.
I do, but
okay.
So many tangents.
I love you, Larry Legend.
Right, so we took our friend Larry to a show. You want us to go? Okay.
By the way,
I keep thinking people can see us. It's fucking weird.
Okay, we're Facebook Live right now, so people can see us right now.
Before he tells the story, to get off, to tie back to the Warpigs theme, when me and Blood worked Larry Legend and his partner, we were over like a motherfucker. When Blood was taking the heat, when he tagged me for the hot tag, it was like Ricky Morton tagging Robert Gibson in 1986. They were hanging from the rafters, brother.
Wait, the Larry Legend thing, was that the night when we went to that random strip club that was in the middle of bumfuck nowhere and we left you there?
You weren't on that show. It was just me and Socrates went because the only reason I went to
I wasn't even at the show. I just know the story.
Oh, okay. I went to this fucking show in Jersey just to get trained by Terry Funk because it's fucking Terry Funk.
Yeah.
And fucking Larry Legend and Ronnie were there, and Terry Funk did the same thing. He couldn't remember people, so he assumed he knew everybody.
Yeah.
So I guess, but he really did think he remembered Larry Legend. His name was Larry Legend, I guess. And we had trained, and then I introduced him to Larry, and he was like, Larry Legend. Oh God, I love you, Larry Legend. He's shaking his hand and hugging him, and Larry played along. He's like, okay, and I was like, Terry, you've never met Larry. It's like, I assumed I did. He looks familiar. No, I thought I really liked him.
I know we already talked about the strip clubs and all that. I mean to cut you off, but I know we already talked about the strip clubs. However, there was a night when we went to a strip club. Larry Legend and Ronnie was there, and it was the one that you sent me the photo of the other day. The one that was in that was the house. And the dance
was here?
Yeah, because I worked them in a triple threat match.
Miss Lindsay's.
Yeah. It was me, Larry Legend, and Ronnie. Ronnie was Onyx at the time. So
no one wants to hear about strip clubs.
So that was the whole thing. And we went to the strip club, and the whole thing with the strip club is it was inside a house. We walk in through a sex store.
Not a house.
A trailer.
Whatever. A double wide trailer, whatever. So we walk in through the sex store. There's a sex store that's going on. So we walk in through the sex store, and we see the stage. And the stage is right next to the fucking refrigerator in the fucking kitchen of the double wide trailer. And we're like, what the hell is this? Like, what are we looking at right here?
There was no bathroom.
Yeah, and there were no bathroom. There was a porta potty outside. And I got a lap dance there. The lap dances were in the bedroom. And they were expensive lap dances. So you're sitting there thinking to yourself, man, something's going to happen right here. Like, what's
Nothing
going on?
happened,
Nothing happened. However, it was the thing that you had bought beer. Because it was bring your own beer. Mm. And I remember we went to leave. We were all shit canned. Just completely shit canned. And you looked at me. You grabbed me.
Safe.
No,
I was sober enough to be safe.
No, you were sober enough to be safe. You grabbed me by my shirt. We were like, Blood, do you want to leave? And I remember you grabbing me by my shirt and you were like, you fucking leave me here. I'm going to drink all this beer and then I'm going to fucking go home. I'm like, okay. Whatever you say, dude, if that's what you want, then that's what we're going to do.
I didn't go home, though. I was safe and sober.
Now, question, how much were said lap dances at that establishment?
Oh,
shit. You had to pay 30 to the stripper, and then 30 to the club.
Oh, y'all overpaid.
Fuck that.
Y'all overpaid. And nothing happened?
We assumed...
You got robbed.
We assumed, since they were so much, and since it was in the bedroom, that we were going to get laid.
I mean,
y'all got robbed.
It's the whole thing.
Well, I'm sorry, Ray did not.
Well, see, here's the thing. Like, also when you're there, like I was wearing, I always wear hats. If you know me, you know I always wear hats. So the stripper took my hat off of my head.
Well, that was at the stage.
Yeah, that was at the stage. So you sit there and think, well, if you're going to do a trick like that, then when we go into this room, shit's gonna go well.
But I remember you were like, I don't want that hat back. She kept that hat.
Yeah.
It went in her crotch. It went inside of her.
Speaking of sitting in front of the stage, I got to tell you a story about a nice young fella named Bump.
Oh my God!
Yeah,
we were Bump there.
No, this was a different night. We were at a Rambo show.
Oh my God!
And Jay Bowler was selling his promo picks. Now I felt bad because nobody was buying Jay Bowler's promo picks. So I was like, you know what, Bowler, here's $1. Give me one.
Who would buy a Jay Bowler promo pick?
I did. I bought one because I felt bad for the kid. You know?
Yeah.
I worked the guy 100 times.
Al Snow would not have done.
Yeah, as far as I'm concerned,
you know what? Al Snow would have bought a Jay Bowler promo pick.
Jay Bowler
fuck Socrates and wrote Al Snow on it.
Right. Jay Bowler has more clout in this business than Al Snow. Do we have like a Socrates heat? How many people I have heat with so far because of this podcast?
We'll make a
list. We'll make a list of the.
We can do a whole episode of how many people you have heat with. Like,
so far we've got 7.
Lord.
Okay, no. But Jay Bowler sold me the promo pick. Yeah. So we go to night shift afterward. Me, Blood Ray, and Bump. So we go up in front of the stage because Bump wanted to see some pussy. Bump likes pussy.
Bump likes some pussy.
So a cute little blonde comes up in front of us. I hand Bump the Jay Bowler promo pick and I say, Bump, tip her with this. So Bump, she slides up. She pulls her little string down. Bump hands her the picture. She takes it. She looks at it with a very puzzled look. She says, "What the fuck is this?" Exact quote. "What the fuck is this shit?" And throws it back in his face. I was like, "How dare you, little girl? Jay Baller is a legend in this business."
Now,
I beat him. I won the cruiserweight title from Jay Baller. You're not going to take the promo pick?
Now,
because he couldn't make a layup.
Real quick, because we're going to have to end this episode to go into episode 2 very shortly. With Bump.
The fucking podcast was fucking longer than one. Who the fuck are you?
I still got
fucking in my podcast.
I still got 12 more people I want to get heat with on this thing.
How fucking dare you?
So Bump. A little bit of backstory of Bump is Bump is a guy that signed up at the wrestling school, and he was this weird-looking guy. But we all loved him. And the reason why his name was Bump.
I hope he's alive.
It was a nickname for back bump because he did the most awkward back bump I had ever seen in my life. He couldn't do any other type of bump.
Awkwarder than awkward.
He couldn't take one.
Yeah, so we loved the dude so much because he was so awesome. He had such an awesome personality.
For people that don't wrestle, what is a bump?
Bump is when you fall. Basically, the 3 basic falls that you learn in the ring. Basically, every time a guy falls, when you fall on your back. Yeah,
it's the reason I have a crippled spine now.
So
it's the reason I'm a referee now.
So Bump, he would cross his arms and he would look like
he would just sit down.
Yeah, it would look like a fetus just falling out of a vagina. It was like, what the fuck?
At least he didn't cry when he bumped like Eric Ruth.
What is this?
Go T, you'll get that. Go T, you'll get that one.
Fuck you. Cookie dough is awesome.
Can I tell the Oh, good, Ray. After you're done, I'll tell
I mean, so, Bumpy's a lovable guy, but we did so many fucked up things to him. Like, we took him to the strip club and all that stuff, and, we're going to sit here and we're going to leave you guys, we're going to leave you with a cliffhanger on Bump. So, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead, we're going to wrap, and then we're going to pick up episode 2, volume 2 of Warpigs Table, with the one and only, the infamous back bump. And we're also going to tell a story of my bachelor party with Bump.
We're also going to talk real quick. At least Bump never cried when he bumped, unlike Eric Ruth.
Oh. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us for the first episode of the Happy Hour podcast. We will see you next week with volume 2 of Warpigs Table.